Daddy, I wish you didn't have diabetes so you weren't fat. And I was like, those two separate issues, dear.
Welcome on the trail here again. Trail whispers, my friend. Welcome on the trail here again. Trail whispers round the bend. Trail whispers back again.
Welcome back.
All right.
Live from
Ladies
Florida.
and gentlemen, welcome back. Jeremy is in Florida. So you're there for the next 6 weeks. So this is how it's going to be for 6 weeks.
Yep.
Which
I'm now I'm catching your chin and your neck. Did you want to film your chin and neck, or do you see your face?
I see everything. My chin and my neck is definitely a part of me. And
okay. I didn't know if the recording was going to just catch your neck.
No, it shows me my whole self here, so hopefully hopefully the viewers aren't just seeing my chin and neck. But
upper rack to lips is kind of what we're seeing.
I don't want to identify with the term rack. Unless we're talking about a rack of ribs. I could go for some ribs.
Oh, dude. Barbecue now sounds amazing.
Well, you're in the South, man. I was walking in Amish country one day.
Okay.
And I don't even know why I don't remember exactly what I was doing there, but Amish country. You wouldn't expect it. And there's this dude with a trailer, a rib burner trailer, whatever, and he's cooking ribs. He's just giving them away on the side of the road for free. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. He's trying to sell them, giving away samples, but he gave me like a full rack as a sample.
Dude, what a genius idea. What was the name of the company? Do you remember?
I don't. Just some dude with a trailer. On the
Probably not in business because he was giving away his food.
No, not anymore. But so you're in Florida. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so just needed to get away for a little while. Life's been stressful, so left the family back home. Just hanging out in Florida for 6 weeks by myself.
Yeah, right.
No, my wife's down here doing some training for 6 weeks, so I'm just dadding it up the entire time while she's hanging out in the pool all day. So, but it's been good.
So you're like a stay-at-home dad, pretty much.
I get to experience what it would be like to be a stay-at-home dad with like a sugar mama, just bringing in the dough. So,
what do you think of that lifestyle, the stay-at-home dad?
I'm mixed on it. I'll give you my honest opinion. I love working, but more so than working, I love spending time with my kids. However, they do need that time with mom and that female figure for sure. Yeah. So I could get used to a blended idea of that. Not all the time, but a couple days a week I could do easily.
Or even if you went to work from like 8 to 5 and then saw your kids from like 5 p.m. to bedtime. It's called normal life.
I'm thinking work like 3 days, 4 days a week. How do I dial back a day or two in the work week? And I would gladly take that time and just spend it with my kids. So
I'm with you, man.
I have seen, not down here yet, but have you seen these people that are pushing around pets in strollers?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Fortunately, I have. I don't like dogs in stores. Listen, viewers, we're 5 episodes in. This is episode 5, okay? I don't like dogs in stores. And I know you're saying, it's a service animal. No, that's your dog, okay? You brought it from home. You put a leash on it. Just because you put a patch on the side of it doesn't make it a service animal. You are not blind.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're blind, let's go. I'm all about it. That's really the only kind of service dog that I'm interested in seeing in the store. And then, and then as far as dogs and strollers, it's just absurd. I'm not interested in that. It's wild. It's wild. I don't know. I feel like it just hits me at my core sometimes when I see these people with their dogs and like putting shoes on their dogs. It's like, what are we doing? Okay? No. We're not doing this.
Do you feel equally as strong about cats?
People don't do that with cats. Like, you don't see an emotional support cat, right? And you don't see people putting cats in a stroller because the cat will just get out of the stroller. So,
yeah.
If they had that, that would be weird, you know? But you only really see it with dogs. What do you think about dogs in stores?
Ridiculous.
I was in a Home Depot like a week or two ago and someone had a dog. It was not a service dog. It was just a dog on a leash. And it was like barking and jumping at people.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
My brother in Kentucky, who I've mentioned before, for a possible sponsor for Goat's Milk and Goat's Chocolate Bars, had his son in a Lowe's, and there's a lady in there with a pit bull. Sorry to the viewers we offend, but he said this dog was like aggressively trying to get at his son. And if you know my brother, he was packing a punch. Yeah. And he was just waiting to have to execute a dog in the store. So, he was like, that's not a service dog. I don't get down with that, especially in a store. Yeah, so, no way. Too dangerous, man. Too dangerous. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. I was just talking to my kids about pit bulls. And, you have people that are like one extreme or the other, I feel like. There's people that just hate them. Or there's people that just say, no, it's not the dog, it's the owner, it's the way they're raised, and all this and that, But it's like, I'm just of the approach of like, I don't trust them. Yeah. There was a lady I used to work with, and she was like, that was her approach of, no, because I'm like, dude, those dogs are dangerous, like, you hear all these stories, and she's like, no, that's not how they are, that's bad owners, treat them bad, and that's why they act like that. And I was just like, okay, like, I don't know anything. She comes into work, like, a few months later, and I was like, what happened? Her whole arm was torn up. And she's like, my dog saw another dog outside and went to attack it, and I pulled his leash to pull him back, and he turned on me and, like, mauled my arm. She had to have the dog put down. And, like, I didn't say anything about it. I'm not here trying to be like, told you so, that's not, but it's just like, dude, these dogs are dangerous. Oh yeah. And I think in that you can throw a few other breeds in there that I equally don't trust, especially in a store. Just in general, I mean, yeah. I feel like unless you have a golden retriever or a lab or a collie, those are probably, there's probably a few others that I'm missing. Those are probably your most safest breeds that you can trust about 99% of the time. Yeah. You never heard of someone getting mauled by a Labrador Retriever or a Golden Doodle. It's like, what happened to that kid? And they got mauled by a Golden Doodle. No! It's always like an off-the-chain pit bull or, I don't know. Like, I love German Shepherds, but I feel like they even have like an edgy side. Like, I know. Look, those things are killing terrorists, and then you just walk into a grocery store with one, and it's like, hang on a second. Dude, we were at Aldi yesterday. Yeah, yesterday evening we went to Aldi, got some groceries for the week, and we're in there, and it's, I think it's called Anatole Shepherd, maybe? It's a bigger dog. It's actually supposed to be like a good dog for at the house and kind of like as a protector and stuff. But this guy's in Aldi with this dog, and like young dude, just picking up bottled water, and I'm like, I know this is not a service animal. So we've gotten to that place in society that we're just kind of like okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I just think to myself, like, dog better not turn on me. Or something, like, I'm just always suspicious of these guys. I'm not afraid of dogs. Like, nothing bad's happened to me about dogs or anything, but, I have a moral dilemma about a dog situation in my life, if you wouldn't mind helping me out with it. Maybe some of the viewers. Yeah. This is my situation.
Go for it.
I have about 2 acres of property, right? And my lot is split up, so I have the lot that my house is on. I have an additional lot here. I have 3 lots total, and then I have another lot up here. And they're all split up, right? But, so I have my house, and then I have these, like, 28 apple trees here. I have a wooded section over here with, like, an open lawn, and then I have a field in the back of my property. I don't know how big it is, half acre, I don't know. So it butts up to my neighbor's house. I've never met this neighbor. They just moved in, like, this past summer. Never met them. And they've got 2 dogs. And so I go out to the back half of the property, and I'm riding back there with Ella on her Power Wheels Jeep, and there's just piles of dog crap everywhere on my yard. Probably 20 piles in this section of field. And so I think what I want to do is talk to the guy and just say, hey, neighbor, how's it going? Notice that there's some dog crap in the yard, and just wanted to ask that you don't let your dogs go in my yard anymore. And then hopefully that resolves it, right? Like, I don't know. It's messed up. Like, why would you let your dog do that in someone else's yard? Like, that's not your yard. You know that. You don't cut that grass, What do you think?
If that doesn't work, what's your next solution? That's what I'm
if I have the conversation and he acts like it's cool or whatever, and he says, yeah, I'll do it, like, in my flesh, which isn't necessarily good, I want to gather all the piles into a bag and just gently place it on his front porch. But I won't do that. I would just talk to him again and just be like, dude, come on, like, we can't have this,
Intermingled with fire?
No, I'm not gonna light crap on fire. Put it on someone's porch. That's so sketchy. Have you ever done that before?
No, I've done some wild stuff, but that's one thing I have not done.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, thankfully
I don't know.
It's pretty funky.
Yeah.
I think the worst I ever heard someone doing back in high school, do they call it an upperdecker? Have you heard of an upperdecker?
I have, but I don't know what it is.
You take the lid off the tank to the toilet, and you take a dump in the tank.
Okay.
It's just like back in high school. Hey, Justin, we need you to go clean the bathrooms. And you're like, man, I can't get rid of this crap smell in here. Imagine lifting that tank off. Since I'm floating around, it's really messed up.
That's messed up. Yeah, I don't know. That's messed up. Yeah. So viewers, if you have any ideas of interesting solutions, feel free to drop it in a comment. I'd love to hear some ideas, but I feel like the most civilized and correct thing at this point is just go talk to them. Be like, hey.
Okay, so I got a creative solution to the dog dilemma, because I don't want the viewers to be like, oh man, these guys sound like a bunch of boomers. They're complaining about dogs, just whining, whimpering. So I think what we should start doing, it would be trapping animals in a cage, putting them in our shopping cart while we go through Aldi's, and just say like, yeah, this is my like emotional support raccoon.
Yeah, that's essentially what you're doing. Like, this is a wild animal that you have it on the string here. Like, what's the difference? It's in a cage. It's a skunk just chilling in a cage, or a big, nasty groundhog just sitting in its cage. Or like a chicken. I'll bring one of my chickens to the store. Why not?
Why not?
Put it on a leash. You know, this is a support chicken. Just dropping bombs through the aisles. What's the big deal? Yeah, I don't know. That's messed up.
Dude, that's funny. That would be funny to do.
I was, speaking of dogs, I was at my friend's house tonight, and they have dogs, and they pulled a tick off one of their dogs, and they were like, I can't believe it, it's February, and there's ticks out, you know? But it's been warm. And it reminded me of a story that, tons of times it's happened to me. So, I currently take a cold shower every morning. You do the same, right? Pretty much. You're still on that? Yeah, me
still on that.
December 1st. Yeah, so I'm on, 2 months of it now? So I feel good. I haven't missed a day. So, since December 1st. I feel pretty good about that.
So you're 3 months in. 3 months in.
January 1st would be a month. February 1st is 2 months, so a month and a half-ish.
Okay.
Right, but, so I do that, and then I do my grounding every morning, too. But, anyways, so I appreciate a cold shower now. Even though I hate it every morning, it's not easy, I just do it, right? So, when I was a kid, we used to go to this place called Harrison State Forest, was what it was called. It was like a chain of ponds through the woods, and we would hike. And my dad had these maps, and he bought these, topographical maps. This was before the days of YouTube. I'm 10 years old. This is 99, 2000 era. You know, technology's come such a long way in such a short time, but back then he bought these maps, and so he knew where all these ponds were, and so we'd hike around to these ponds. Well, it's the woods, right? And so you're getting ticks on you when you go out there and everything else. So we'd get home from our hiking trips, and, you know, we would be worried about ticks, because he'd be telling us stories about ticks sucking your blood, giving you disease, and all this stuff. And so he'd say, the only way to get rid of ticks is a cold shower. And so you just gotta go stand in the cold shower, and that'll get rid of ticks. Totally untrue. But I would just be standing in the cold shower. I know, like the 10-year-old, you know, just Dad, can we get out now? And he's like, nope, you gotta stay in longer. And so me and my brother were in there together, just Dad, can we get out? Not yet. We want them all to fall off. And then he's just laughing in the other room. It's so messed up. So, yeah, scarred childhood for sure. But I thought of that story tonight, and I was like, dude, that was funny.
That's so funny. It's funny when you can say one of your dad's gifts was the ability to screw with people.
It's true, though. It's absolutely true. But, you know, he was just a goofy dude, too. Then another tick story is, he was telling my mom, he's like, I got this mole on my lower back that I need to get removed. It's getting bigger, and it got big pretty fast. And my mom's like, you have a mole on your lower back? He's like, yeah. And so she looks at it, and she's like, that's not a mole, that's a tick. And it was a tick that had, planted itself in his back and just been sucking his blood and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so she ripped this thing off of his back. Yeah, it's huge. Crazy.
Dude, they're nuts. So it's funny that you brought that up. I forgot about that. But the day we left for Florida, I'm sitting in the car, and the only thing different I did that morning was I went out to the pole barn, and I was getting some of our steaks to bring down with us, threw them in the cooler. That was it. So I was out there for maybe 5 minutes, get in the car, and I'm just you feel like something's on you. And I do this, and I look, I had a tick underneath my eyeball, crawling on my face. Ooh. 10 minutes later, another one. And I'm like, what on earth? This is February. They should be gone. But yeah, I think that warm stretch.
Yeah, you have 52 days or whatever, for sure.
Dude,
Sorry, go ahead.
I had one, I don't know if I told you about this summer. Jrich and I were working on a project down by a body of water, so at lunchtime we're like, oh, let's take a little siesta. So we had some lunch, we're just resting in the grass. I think it was the next day or 2 days later, I was at the Y, and I was showering, and I was I thought I had a zit on my upper, we'll call it the upper rump area. And I'd look back and I'm like, what is that? Dude, sure enough, I got a tick in my butt cheek. Buried.
That's messed up.
So I took a pair of tweezers and I just did a quick, I jammed it in and just ripped and just took a chunk of flesh out and everything. I was just like, I want to make sure this is all the way out. Of course, I had Jrich do a little inspection with the pocket knife a little bit later just to make sure. I think there was a little residual tick in there. But dude, those things, what's crazy is I don't ever remember having issues with ticks growing up. And now I feel like they're pretty common to have, so.
Yeah, and you live in the woods basically out there at your house.
Oh yeah.
You probably see them more than you used to. Speaking of ripping things off with pliers, do you remember in 2011, I had something on my hand right here.
You had a wart?
Yes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you need to tell that story.
Yeah, so somehow I got a wart. I don't know. I'd gotten it when I was working at McDonald's, and it was just on my knuckle, viewers. This knuckle right here, okay? So I had a wart, and it wasn't like that big, and I tried to freeze it off, and I put a Band-Aid on it, and I don't know how I got it, coming in contact with someone, I don't know, right? And so then I leave McDonald's, and I'm working at FedEx, still got this wart, still Band-Aiding this thing up, just trying to freeze it off, put the stuff on there, dripping it on there, trying to peel this thing off. It just keeps coming back. So I'm engaged, and my bride-to-be says, you have to get that wart off before our engagement pictures. I refuse to take pictures with you with that wart on your hand. And so I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? And so Jeremy comes over. And no, it wasn't engagement pictures, it was wedding pictures. We were about to get married. And
yeah, because it happened at your apartment.
Yes, because we got the apartment for her. I had not moved in yet, not until after we had gotten married, but in that she was living there. And so we went into the bathroom, and we had a pair of Gerber pliers, and I think we had a Swiss Army knife, and a bottle of Purell. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And we basically, you helped me somehow. We cut around this thing, pulled the pliers on, and I just ripped my hand down, and there was blood everywhere. And then you squirted a bunch of Purell on it while the blood was pouring out, just to make sure we killed this virus. And I don't know if that's how warts work or not. One of our doctor viewers can tell us, but it was wild. So much blood. But then the hand started to heal, and I was able to take a big, a nail file and just file the skin to, even it out. And it healed.
How big was that hole, and how long was it before it finally healed in?
It healed surprisingly fast. Yeah, because that was a month before we had gotten married. So within a month's time, it was picture ready, where I might have had to move my hand a little bit to hide it or something, but it wasn't this nasty, huge wart on my knuckle. It was gross. Dude, I forgot about that until you said that about pliers. That was nasty.
Yeah. I forgot about that too. I've had a couple of wart experiences. One of myself that I did with pliers that worked, and then my one cousin I felt bad for years ago. She had one on her foot, and she did not want to go and get it taken off. And it was me and I think her uncles and brothers were all kind of helping her. But dude, we performed legit surgery on this girl's foot. That's my cousin Abby. She's pretty tough. And that's quite a look. Just a summer
breeze blowing the curtain? Yeah?
Just a breeze blowing the curtain, baby.
So you performed surgery on this girl, basically.
Pretty much. I don't know how she managed it, because your foot's sensitive, and those warts, dude, those are nasty. So, recently my son had some, and we tried that dropper stuff too. We tried all that stuff, freeze it off, did not work. Dude, you know what works? Literally apple cider vinegar on a little cotton ball and then use a little bit of duct tape or Gorilla Tape or something. And we did that for 2 days straight, and it was gone. The world's easiest way for warts. I'll never buy that other stuff.
The apple cider vinegar lives on. Dude,
it's a miracle.
I never took it.
I feel like if you were on an island, what would be 3 things that you want to take with you? If you could only take 3 things.
3 things? Okay. Yeah. So if I'm stuck on an island, oh man, to survive. Well, let's pretend that I don't have diabetes. Can we do that?
We can pretend that, yeah.
Okay.
You still have the 8 claw.
Yeah, that's fine. I can live with the 8 claw. Gotta take some kind of cutting utensil, large knife, hatchet. I don't know what would be better. I guess a large knife. I'd take a knife. Sharp knife that you could gut something with if you had to, but you could also use it to split wood or something if you had to. You gotta have water to drink. That's a necessity.
You take a Brita filter?
Some kind of filter? I think you have to take some
like a life straw.
Or you could boil something. Or you could boil water. So I guess I would take a pot, metal pot to boil stuff in. I would take a fire starter, and then I would take a knife. Yeah, like one of those things that you get the shavings and then you hit a spark because those things last forever. So I guess those would be my 3 items.
You think you'd be better off to take a baggie of dryer lint?
It's a possibility. Yeah, what did she say about that? Did she watch that?
We listened to it on the way down. Your screen, there we go. On the way down the floor, we were listening to it. She was howling. She thought that was the funniest thing. When you started dying laughing, you're like, you're better than that. You're better than that. You grew up in Jackson Township. That's when it really hit.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, just be okay with who you are these days.
Yeah. It's absurd.
So,
what do you think you would take on the island? Viewers, leave it in the comments below. What would you take? We'll talk about it next time.
I'd have to say my cell phone. I'm only kidding. My cell phone's not on that list. I'd have to go... I definitely would go with a life straw, something that I could just drink water with. Fire starter, such as a flint. And I feel like something like a machete or a hatchet. So that way I could get a fire going. There's probably enough brush that's down that I wouldn't have to cut it up per se, just kind of burn it in half. But then I would have the ability to be able to make spears, things like that. So, yeah. Okay. But I think if you had those things, I mean, the one thing that I was thinking about outside of that life straw that might not be bad, like you said, is a pot would be helpful. Or even a tarp, thinking about staying dry. Yeah. Yeah, I thought about the tarp, but I don't know, because I was like, oh, you could drape it over, build a shelter with it. But I'm like, if I had to choose between that or a pot to boil water in and cook things in, I think I'm better off with a pot and I could just get branches. We're on an island, right? I think so, like a tropical island. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. Interesting question. I like the show Alone. Have you ever seen Alone? No, tell me about it. Yeah, they get 10 items. And so you get to pick 10 items. So, you pick a tarp, you pick a knife, a sleeping bag, a pot, a bow and arrow or fishing net or something. And so you get 10 items, and then you're allowed to have one picture of, your
kids or wife or whatever. And the challenge is to stay alone for as long as you can, and the winner gets $500,000. So they'll start with like 20 people or something, I think, and they'll just whittle it down, and some people make it a day. They leave on the first day, they're like, this is crazy hard. And then the one guy was just like sitting in, like, I forget how many days he made it. Like, it was crazy. Let me check it. Let me Google this. Longest.
Do you remember how to get on the Safari?
No, tell me how.
Okay, so you'll look for the Safari icon, double click,
okay,
and then what you're going to do is you're going to type http /www.google.com.
Okay, am I on the World Wide Web?
You're on the World Wide Web, yes. That's where it's taking you.
Yeah, so this dude survived 100 days.
Wow, that's impressive.
In the wild with nothing.
Okay, so let's make this fun. Out of all the people we know, who do we think would survive the longest? I mean, we had a friend, we shouldn't say had, he's still alive, rest in peace, Josh, that actually was homeless in Portland.
On the mean
streets. Do you think he could make it the longest?
No way in this world.
Who do you know that would make it the longest?
If I'm putting money on someone to last... Are you kidding me? If I'm putting money on someone to last in the woods longer than anybody else that I know, it's got to be your brother Jrich. Yeah. Hands down. I would like to think I can, but let's just be real. You know?
No, you would just be like, okay, I got to find myself the nearest Dairy Queen. I got to get myself a Blizzard.
I need the curly Q on the top. Hit me, baby.
Dude, there's a funny story. These two boys that we helped out on a project down here in Florida in December, and they were working with us, and it was funny. They were telling us about, we went to this church was having like what were they calling it? It was like some sort of like a survival and fasting retreat. So everybody's going to get, closer to God. They're fasting. They're doing all this stuff. And the one boy started telling us this story, and we were both like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, like, doing that, whatever they did. And then before you know it, as the story progresses, him and a bunch of other guys took like canoes down the river, went and got in the cars, went to like McDonald's, got like full meals. Completely defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
It was everyone, they come back to camp, and they just filled up on number 5, and everyone's like starving to death, and trying to live off the land.
Yeah, and then it's like, yes. I'll take a number 4, extra pickles. Yes. Yeah. A memory I have with my dad that I'll never forget is, I think it was like my 15th birthday or something. On our birthday, we got to do whatever we wanted. And so he'd take us somewhere or whatever. And so I wanted to go on a survival type camping trip. And so he took me. And the weather was crappy and it was raining. And I remember we were like walking back. Like we had stayed the night and we were walking out to get to the purple truck, this purple Ford Explorer. And we stopped. And like, I'm hungry and we're sitting, he draped this tarp up to like protect us from the rain, and we're like sitting on the ground, and we took this Spam can, and we took the Spam out of it, and we set it aside, and then he took the can, and we found coal on the, like we were digging coal out of the ground, we found some in the ground, and we built like this little stove in this Spam can, and then we heated up a can of baked beans on top of the Spam can, and then we diced up the Spam and put it in, and we found these like wild green onion things, and we chopped those up and we put them in the beans. I just remember cooking that up, in the rain under a tarp with my dad, and it's like, I don't know, it was cool, and it makes
my
me
dad
think
would ever do something like that.
your dad. I don't think so. But it makes me think though, because how many times in life, or as my dad was parenting me, did he think, like, I want him to remember this moment?
Yeah.
But the reality is I remembered sitting under a tarp eating baked beans and Spam with my dad in the rain, you know? Mm-hmm. And there were so many other moments that but it's like, you don't get to choose what you remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those impact moments. Yeah, I don't think my dad would ever do something like that. I think he unknowingly allowed us opportunities to grow in character and fortitude. I can remember when we started remodeling our house, so I could give stories for days about our house before we started the remodeling project. And there was a time where, we had a 2-story house where the roof was off completely. You could be up on that first or that second floor and look straight out to the stars. And my brother Josiah and I we were part of like the demo cleanup crew. And I kid you not, it was winter time. We were in this house with no heat, so we stayed in the basement. And dude, if you could have seen that basement, it was a gnarly basement. It's not one of these cool basements of today.
Yeah.
Wolf spiders everywhere. We found squirrels in the basement at times. We had raccoons loose in our house, bats in our house, tons of stuff. And we were down in the basement, and I remember just freezing to death because it's the winter time. But we were staying at the house with my dad, and we were in sleeping bags and just bundled up. And every morning, when you had to get up to work, you didn't want to leave the bed because you were so cold. It was like the only spot that gave you like a little bit of warmth. But unknowingly, he was kind of building some strength in us. So, yeah, it's kind of a cool.
No roof on the house.
No roof on the house. Nope. And that was only for a stretch of days, but even once the sheeting was on, the heat was still not on. We had openings and windows and doors that weren't put in, and dude, it was nuts.
Dude, you had a rough childhood.
Dude, it was crazy.
You were telling last week about eating dog food to stay alive, and now there's no roof on the house.
No roof on the house.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was a crazy time, but yeah, and the best part about that. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like my dad just made it happen. Like he just made like things happen when he set his mind to it. And he wasn't always the most driven guy or perfect guy or whatever, but like, I don't know, he would just bust his butt to get stuff done. I just remember that over and over and over and over again. Like he put on the roof himself, and he did all this home repairs himself, and it wasn't perfect. Nothing was perfect, but it was just like this guy would grind and make it happen. You
kind of have that gear a little bit. I've seen you go into that mode.
I do. I wish that I was just more like organized in everyday life, for sure. But yeah, I definitely have the mode. I remember like when you helped me remodel my kitchen. I don't know if you remember that. That was wild. I was going to bed at like midnight, waking up at 6 a.m. And you'd be like, have this wall sanded down before I get there. Mariah's got a doctor's appointment. I'll be over after that. And that was wild. I was just like, fall in the bed, get up, start going again. Like, it was crazy. But we got it done.
We got it done. Dude, that was a blitz. That was, a couple of days, I feel like? Just pure
5 days.
Craziness.
Because you were like, I've got a week before I start this new job. I'll help you. You want to do it that week? And I was like, sure, let's go. So I took off work. And we just balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall. Actually, I came across that picture recently. Do you remember you were jumping the CRV? And I think I was putting a roll of, what was it, insulation on your lap right before I closed the door.
No.
You got it filled. Oh, yeah, that picture was somewhere. I was just showing the kids. They're like, what's Jrich doing? Because, of course, they're all about calling you Jrich.
Yeah,
I was like, I was helping
Jrich.
I think so. I think you're like an anomaly to the kids.
Yeah.
Speaking of childhood, though, so the topic from last week that we started to talk about is childhood. We were talking about childhood memories, but childhood ways that we were making money. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah. Yeah. So
I'll start, because I've got one that I was thinking about. This was early on. So my brother-in-law, you know Blair. You know his brother Blake. You know all of them. So my brother-in-law grew up across, for the viewers and listeners, Shirachis, or whatever her name is. Yeah, my mom. Let's see. I think Blair's. I don't know. He's your age? I think he's your age.
I don't know.
Just a couple years younger than me. And his mom was like, "Hey, would you mind babysitting the kids?" And I don't know what she was doing or where she was going. I honestly think, looking back on it, she was just like, I need a human body that can just literally be at this house and not let the house burn to the ground. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. I was probably like 13, 14. Yeah, I'll help babysit. Of course, they've got their older sister, Brittany, who's friends with my sister. So they would always hang out. And then, of course, my brother-in-law, Blair, he's got a twin brother. And then Blake, of course, is a little bit younger than them. Dude, I kid you not, this one time that I was babysitting for them, and I'd make pretty good money. I feel it was a couple hours, and I'd make like $40 or something as like a teenager. Wow. And I literally just go to the bathroom to just go take a leak. That's all I did. I just had to take a leak. And I'd come out, and Brittany had a wooden teapot she had put in the microwave to heat up tea that started smoking. So I come out and there's like smoke. Literally, you put that in there like instantly. It's just, I think it's arcing because there's metal on it, wood, so it's smoking. And then, so I'm dealing with that for a quick second, and then I'm like, okay, well, where are the boys at? They were literally just inside. And I think Blake was up on the roof. He was probably like 4 or 5. He's up on the roof of the house. And Blaine and Blair are literally across.
At least they had a roof.
Very true. And they're literally across the street in the creek in like brand new clothes and shoes. Just trashing them in the creek. This is all literally unfolding within a matter of a couple minutes. And I'm like, dude, what a wild memory of like making some good money, but then thinking to myself, that was just pure chaos.
Yeah.
Not a professional sitter.
Yeah. Do you want to go back and forth and like the childhood things we did? So I also had a babysitting routine. There was this family at church, and my dad worked with this guy on their tile business. And so they had 4 kids. And they were young, but they just, again, like a situation like, we just need a body here. So I'm like 15, 16. So I'm old enough, I know what's going on. And they asked me to babysit, and so I would. And it'd be like all day I would be over there. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with kids, but my sister usually did it, and she was like 14. But she had, I forget what she had, like, some kind of thing with school in the summer, or, I don't know, was it band stuff? I don't remember what my sister had going on. Rebecca, you're out there. Comment, let us know. But she...
in school suspension?
Yeah, hard crime, drug use, all these things. And so I'm babysitting these kids, and I'm getting like an hourly rate. I don't know what it was, $5 an hour or something like that, nothing crazy. And this would have been back in, 2005 or something. So these kids want me to pop them on the trampoline, play popcorn, So they call old Big Pop out there. And I've always been hefty. I've always worn husky pants and such, anyways. And so I'm out there playing popcorn with these little kids. Like, they're like ages 9, like 7, and like 5, 6, like that kind of age range for the 4 kids. And the 2 youngest smack into each other on the trampoline when I'm bouncing them up and down, and the one's teeth go directly into the other one's skull, and her front teeth get, and there were her adult front teeth, they get like pushed up inside. So they had to do like a pretty severe surgery on this little girl, and she had to wear like some kind of thing that like pulled her front teeth down out of her mouth. And then the little kid had to get like suture on his head or something like that. And I'm just like, what is going on? You know what? So they pay this kid to babysit, and then they're paying hundreds in insurance, I'm sure, maybe even thousands.
Oh yeah,
it was intense.
Was that the last time you babysat?
I actually went back the next day.
No.
Yeah, they didn't have.
They were desperate.
Yeah, my sister still had whatever going on, so I just remember like being so ashamed and just like I just felt terrible for these kids, you know. It was the worst. It was the worst. So
how are they doing as adults?
That was wild. I think they're doing good. Like, the one went to Bible college, and you know, I think him and his sister both did. I don't know about the younger ones. So yeah, they're like married and stuff now, but it's like, dude, I'm so sorry if you guys are out there watching that McDowell family. If you're out there, so sorry.
Sorry about the teeth and the head, dude. That's rough. Yeah, I don't think I ever had a story like that as a babysitter.
Freak accidents. I was hefty, and like in 2nd grade, we were playing tag, running down a hill, and I broke a girl's collarbone. So it's like, these are the kind of things that happen. I don't want them to happen, but they do. So
okay, let's camp out there for a moment, because you and I both can relate to that. The hefty days. You remember? You're still there. I can remember literally my mom would be like, "You're not fat. You're just husky, and you're big boned." And that's just the way you're built.
The same crap. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, good for them as a mom.
What's that?
Good for them as moms. But what would you eat before bed?
I'd have 3 snacks. So we were allowed to have 3 snacks. I have type 1 diabetes, and before bed I'd eat canned fruit and heavy syrup. I'd have whale of a pail of vanilla ice cream and Cheetos. I have type 1 diabetes. And it's like, well, you know, we just know more nowadays than we did back then. No, you knew not to feed me those things, but it would just be like, you know, I just ate, like, what am I having tonight for a snack before bed? I just had dinner an hour ago. Why don't I have a little Debbie snack cake and some chips and dip? That sounds good. And so I mean, we can say husky all we want. I just pounded 1,500 to 2,000 calories before bed. So yeah, buy the elastic waist jeans, Mom. That's what we need.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's just, the reality. Dude, I can remember that. Snack time for me at times, we would do cinnamon toast, which was like cinnamon sugar with butter on like white bread. Or wheat bread, which was allegedly better. And we would just slam. I mean, as much as my mom would feed me, my fat self would just pound it in.
And that was cheap, too, you know?
Cheap. And then it was cereal with skim milk. We were on skim milk. My mom was trying to kill us with, like, watered-down skim milk. She'd take skim milk and cut that with water.
Yeah.
So, and dude, it was... Yeah. Made no sense. Of course, you know, here we are with cornflakes. We're buying the non-sugar cereal, but my mom's letting us add white sugar. Dude, I hate that stuff.
We do the same thing. We do the same thing. But you made it out, Jeremy. You made it out of that. I'm still there. I'm still there. What's it like to have a 6-pack? I had one, but now I only got 5 left. I need rescue.
Oh,
honestly, I know you're not a fan of this, but I just started counting calories.
Oh no, you're back.
I know.
You ask Dr. B what he thinks of calories. He's kind of like your outside voice.
Yeah, Dr. B, let me know what you think. I know you're listening.
He'll give you honest feedback.
Yeah, but dude, I gotta lose some weight. I'm not like morbidly obese. Like the sweatshirt here in this picture makes me look fat, but I'm not morbid. But it's just like, I want to slim up, you know? I want to lose about 30 pounds and be able to see my toes again. So, I'm kidding, I can see them.
Dude, for saving their names, we won't throw them out there, but that's a mutual connection that you and I have. And I'll never forget, this individual was sitting in a chair at a gathering, and I thought they were going into cardiac arrest, or what's the sleep stuff where they have trouble breathing and they like are gonna die?
Sleep apnea?
Yeah, but he was taking a nap, and he's a real big guy.
$4
Yeah, he's probably a good $4, and I was literally thinking, like, I wonder if I'm going to see him just die. Because I read, take one of the kids into the bathroom. It's at a friend's house, and he was in the basement, sitting on a chair, sleeping, but like stopped breathing a few times. And I think it was Sophia, and she was kind of like just perplexed, not sure what to think of this guy.
She's like, "What is going on out here, Dad?"
I said, "I don't know. We'll see what happens."
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, kids don't know how to take that, and they're just honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what motivated me, is my daughter's like, "Daddy, I wish you didn't have diabetes so you weren't fat." And I was like, there's two separate issues here. But how do you convince a 6-year-old of that, you know? So I'm like, oh, yeah.
Hey, that might be all you need, though. If that's not motivation enough, dude, what a sweet little heart.
Shout out to my buddy Chris, and if you're looking at the episodes and you say, wow, your last one, episode 4, was like the best quality, that's because Chris helped me edit that one. So shout out to Chris. But I went over to his house and he was just talking to me about fitness and moving more and stuff like that. So it just got.
Is he a fitness kind of a guy, or is he trying to get moving more?
You know, he's Asian, so yeah, ping pong, those kind of sports, computers and ping pong, PlayStations. He's got a nice home gym set up there, and you know, that kind of stuff. So, and he's been losing weight, and he looks good. So
nice.
He's like me, like he just loves food. I feel like you kind of grew out of it. I feel like you like food, but like the food you like now is like a steak, not like a double-decker, not to use that phrase again, but the oatmeal cream sandwich is the double-decker oatmeal cream sandwich. So, dude, you're not going into a gas station and saying, man, I could take out a bag of Little Debbie powdered sugar donuts. Like, that's not crossing your mind.
Doesn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, I want to get to that point where I'm just like, steak sounds good, not like, you know, Oreos sound good or whatever. So.
Yeah, your childhood and my childhood, and my wife, good grief, she was the same way with her childhood. She's like, I can remember literally coming home from school and slamming down like Pop-Tarts, several Pop-Tarts, Little Debbie snacks, the honey buns, ice cream sandwiches, ice cream bars, and hot dogs.
Hot dogs, yeah.
And it's like, I think our parents were literally trying to kill us.
Yeah. Yeah, you've heard a fourth meal from Taco Bell. I would have 5 meals a day. I'd have breakfast, which was usually some kind of Pop-Tart, toaster strudel, or cereal. I'd have lunch, which my mom would pack me at school, which would be like a sandwich on white bread, and then just like trash, Doritos, fruit snacks, whatever. And then I'd come home from school and I'd eat a can of SpaghettiOs, and then I'd eat dinner, and then I'd have 3 snacks before bed. I don't even want to think about the calorie count that I was consuming as like a 12-year-old. It's just, It's insane.
Yeah. Dude, I don't remember. I think the wake up call for me was kind of like your daughter. For you is hopefully the wake up call. But I can remember looking at myself in a picture, and it was so sweet. My sister, I was probably like 15, and my one sister was bringing me something over at my grandma's house for like a cookout. And the picture is somewhere at my grandma's house, and I'm sitting there with my gut just loaded up, and she's bringing me food, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm like, that was it. I remember seeing that picture and thinking like, you obese cow, this is ridiculous.
How old were you when you thought that about yourself?
15.
Good for you.
That happened, and then there was this girl that was like, that I was interested in at the time, and in high school, and she was like this tiny little thing. And I remember she had said something about like my bubble butt. No, I'm glad I've got a butt now. I'm like, she didn't know what was up. Like butts are all the rave. And I'm like, dude, I just had this naturally built in. They didn't used to be. They weren't cool. But that was one of those things of like these wake up calls of like obesity and the path I was on. But what was wild is we were always active too. I don't know if you were active.
Yeah. We're always riding our bikes around the neighborhood and playing baseball or whatever, that kind of stuff. Like, I was active, but I was just slamming food. Three snacks is just the greatest. Dude, I used to love Pop-Tarts so much. I remember when I first bought, because I think what I started to do as well is I would still eat relatively healthy, but I just decided if I worked out like a maniac, I could eat whatever. There's times I slammed like a whole box of like Golden Grams with whole milk, a whole box of Pop-Tarts. Dude, those things are so good. They're addicting. What kind of Pop-Tarts? Brown cinnamon sugar. Oh, those are the best ones. Yeah. They're unreal. Those are the best ones. They make a hot fudge one. That's pretty good. I used to eat that when I was in high school. I think they still make it, but yeah, the brown sugar cinnamon is definitely the go-to. Is that your go-to? Yeah. Well, I don't eat it anymore, but yeah, I bought them for the kids. They like the hot fudge one, and they like the brown sugar. No, like strawberry, classic strawberry. So nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's consistent. That's not too bad. Yeah, I was going to. What was I going to say? I've got 2 reviews here. So one of them is from my sister, so I was going to read that. It says, definitely think you guys need to have some scientists/doctors come on the pod and give their insight on Jrich and see what else they come up with. # medical wonder. Love the podcast, guys. So, I don't know what's better. The fact that she called you Jrich or just her statement about a medical wonder. Yeah, I know. So this is a shout out. Any doctor, any legitimate doctor, we'll even accept chiropractors even though they're not real doctors. Or witch doctors. We'll also accept witch doctors. Clearly as a chiropractor. You are welcome here Monday nights, 9 p.m. Message me. I'll give you my address. And the email is trailwhisperers@gmail.com, or you can leave us a comment and I'll respond to you. We would love to have you come diagnose me with anything you think. So, yeah, let me know if you want to come over. Anything to add to that, Jerry? I mean, they're going to get some jalapeno poppers out of it, so if I was them, I would definitely take you up on the offer. That's kind of our thing. So Jeremy brings over these jalapeno pepper stuffed with cream cheese wrapped in bacon. It's one of my 3 snacks. So, yeah, and then we shows and then we film. So, it's a good time. Yeah, I get 3, so I gotta choose carefully. We had another comment from Ferguson39. I think that's our chiropractor. It says, please enter me in the lint bag contest. Oh, man. Did we make it to 10 subscribers? No.
serious?
Yeah, we did. We're sitting at like 7 or 8. So,
next 2. We should get those pretty soon, probably within the next, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, if you're out there, you're not subscribed, why not? What do you got to lose?
Maybe what we should do is instead of the 10th subscriber gets it, because now, it's not like we've got tens of thousands of people subscribing to us yet.
Yeah.
But we could just say, hey, the 10 subscribers that are here, we're going to put all of their handles, and then we'll just pick one out. We'll just make a big deal out of it. They can then send us an email. We'll get their address, send out the survival bag.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll go for another week. If you're interested, leave us a comment. Make sure you're subscribed, and then we'll go ahead and enter you in that contest if you'd like to win the bag of dryer lint. So let us know. So those things.
Dude, nice really comments. Funny. It's always nice when the fans interact.
Yeah. I was going to share a story here, and just kind of like a personal development story. So we've got, I don't know how much longer we've got, another 15 minutes or so at least, maybe. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wanted to get a new water bottle because I drive around a lot for work, so I don't, some people have a Stanley tumbler with a straw. If you're a basic white girl, you have one of those, and it's 40 ounces, and then you just refill it. And you're like, oh, I want to drink 2 of these during the day, or whatever. Or you just drink from a plastic water bottle, whatever, But I'm out and about, and so I want to make sure that I'm getting a half gallon of water at least. I know you should drink more than that, so I'm like, I'll drink the half gallon of water. I want to have that drunk by 3 o'clock, and then I'll also drink water with dinner and, whatever, get more water in. But I wanted to at least get the 64 ounces. So I went on Amazon, and I'm looking for a 64-ounce water bottle, and I find one, and I nailed it down. There's 3 different options, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick this one here, And it was $40 for this water bottle, which I was like, you know what? It's something I'm going to use every day. Let's just spend the money and get something nice. So this thing comes in the mail, and I am just not impressed at all. It was just cheap. The handle on this thing, I was like, this thing's going to bust off. And this isn't going to last very long. If I'm lucky, I might get 6 months out of this thing, maybe, but who knows, right? I don't know. And I'm just like, for $40, that's a ripoff. And the old me would have just kept it and just lived with it. But the new me said to myself, you know what? You're already spending $40. This is something you're going to use every single day. You need something nice. So I went out to the store and bought the Yeti 64-ounce bottle. And it was $70, which seems like a lot of money. But I bet you I could pass this down to one of my children one day. So I'm just trying to change my mindset.
Dude, that thing sounded solid. It sounded like the judge's hammer coming down.
I'm just trying to change my mindset. It's something you use every day. Don't buy something that's crappy. Just spend the money and get something that's good, that's going to last you forever.
Tell me one of the worst stories of you learning that the hard way.
I don't know if it was the worst story, but I think when I really grasped it, I was at Best Buy, and I was going to get a laptop. And, at the time I was married, and my wife and kids were there, and, we're looking at laptops for homeschool stuff, and I pick up this Windows Surface laptop, and I'm like, okay, this is better than most laptops here. This was $600-700. I could have got a $300 Chromebook or whatever, But I'm like, okay, this is good. And so I go up to the front desk and I check out, and the guy's like, do you want to add the antivirus protection? And I was like, how much is it? And he's like, it's $60 a year. And I was like, you have to have it? And he's like, no, you don't have to, but you should. And I was like, I'll pass. And he's like, do you want to add the Windows software? And I was like, it doesn't come with Windows software? And he's like, no, it doesn't. And I was like, how much is that? And he's like, it's like $40 a year. And I'm like, dude, so you buy this computer and then you've got $100 a year. And then there's something else he tried to sell me too, like a protection or whatever. And I was just like, I just said to him, I'd already paid for this laptop. And I said, how long will this laptop last? And he's like, you could expect to get 5 years out of it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, it's $700, and then you spend $100 a year, so 3 years, and you've got 2 years left on this thing, whatever. And so I'm like, how much is a MacBook? And he's like, $1,000. And I was like, how long will that last? And he's like, 10 years. And I was like, so I get double the lifespan. I said, does it come with the antivirus? He's like, you don't need to get antivirus for it. It already has it. And I said, does it come with software loaded on for like typing and spreadsheets and stuff? And he's like, yep, it's on there. So I was like, this is a no-brainer. It's going to last twice as long. Within 3 years of having this Surface, I would have paid the cost for the MacBook, and then I would have only gotten 2 more years of life out of it. And I would have had to turn around and spend another, $1,000 to get the same thing. So I'm like, let's just bite the bullet and do it. So that's really the first time when my mind kind of shifted to that. Mm-hmm. And now I'm starting to think like that for like tools and stuff like that. I'm just like, let's just get something that's good. It doesn't necessarily have to be the absolute best thing, but it's like, let's get something that's going to last and not waste money on this, Yeah,
it's like when you're in the gas station and you're like, I'm going to buy quality. I want Little Debbie. It's a name brand. I don't want this knockoff brand.
Entenmann's is acceptable as well. Yeah, but I feel like you've kind of always had that approach with things.
Yeah. I probably have. I mean, we grew up pretty frugal, pretty poor. So I feel like with buying some things, it was always trying to think future-oriented, something that's going to last for a good long time. So it's, I think one of the best purchases I've made in recent years was the smoker. And I thought for a while, almost went cheaper on one, and I was like, Traeger has been around, quality, everything I'd heard from people that owned it, they loved it. Dude, it was the best purchase ever. But it was one of those things where you still hesitate at times because you're spending that extra money and you're like, I don't know if I should. So, now, for instance, today's reality is my wife was telling me, so we're in Florida, we're down here for 6 weeks, so obviously we were looking for a place that was nice, close to her place that had a pool, but obviously a little bit more reasonable. So let me give you she would say that I was cheap on this one. Here's the way I would describe this place. So I don't always buy top end. For items I'm going to have forever, I will. Or at least for the foreseeable lifetime. But other things I feel, it's kind of camping. So close your eyes and just picture this. You're a grandma who loves to collect. Just collects for her lifetime. She dies. She passes the house to her daughter, who has a hard time getting rid of things, and makes some very small updates. That is our current situation. That's it.
And you're there for 6 weeks.
And we're there for 6 weeks. My wife said it smelled like mothballs.
That's easy to fix though. Spray some air freshener, get a candle.
There's a few things I staged with me. I wanted you to just be able to see for the viewers. But don't miss it. We got a baby and a buck as well.
It's a whole family.
Whole family. We got fake flowers throughout the house. This is the highlight though. This is the part that had me geared up. So in the living room above the TV is a picture frame of just like random pictures from around this house. One has like a statue, like a lawn ornament statue. She took like a picture of like a tree out front, and it's not like pretty landscaping, it's like dying landscaping. But this was the highlight, and I actually might take one of these because there was 4 of them and they had dust in them. This is in the back of the cupboard. This is just a picture of the pool. On a coffee cup? On a coffee cup. There you go, Fort Myers, Florida. But that's it. I mean, I just see on the inside of this coffee cup, maybe if we had that bag of survival lint, that could be like the ultimate gift.
Dude, that's a good prize.
So, because I know it's thievery, this lady has, so there, I kid you not, I've actually thought about counting it, and I might count them. There's got to be at least 80 cups in the cupboards. Wow. And this was one that was towards the back that literally they have dust in the cups.
You should just ask her, like, hey, can I buy this coffee cup off you? I've kind of grown attached to it. Yeah, give me $5. Give me $5.
I'll ask her as a souvenir if I could have one. Be like, man, I just love this thing so much. Yeah, maybe we'll throw that out there for a subscriber. But dude, yeah, that's literally the feel. So I just had to tell that story because I don't want my wife to listen to this and be like, I thought you were always buying nice stuff, and then she's gonna give me a hard time about this house. But hey, we got a roof over our head. In my book, we didn't have that growing up. We didn't have that. So yeah,
that's awesome.
But
yeah, we'll probably wrap it up. You got anything you want to add? I think next week we should hit childhood jobs again, because I've got some other things that I was thinking of, and I just thought of them, but I don't want to extend on. So
yeah, we're about an hour and 12 on this one roughly. So that's a good time frame.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to just follow up and ask is, did you get any update on your condition with the tightness of your hamstrings and calf muscles?
We didn't review it. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to review it this past Sunday. So I will try to get an update, see if there's any kind of condition. I had, I talked about it with some other friends too. It came up in conversation, but yeah, I'll try to get us an update of a medical diagnosis for the tight hamstrings.
Yeah, I'd like to know. And when is your next appointment with the witch doctor?
I feel like it's like February 28th, 29th, maybe.
Okay, so a couple of weeks.
So, yeah, I go once a month.
Okay.
For the witch doctor. And again, hey, I know it's the end of the episode, but we'd like to thank our sponsor, Adjust Chiropractics. And just as a reminder, if you visit, if you use the code WITCHCRAFT, you're going to get $10 off your first visit. And that's Witchcraft, WITCHCRAFT. Adjust Chiropractics in Canton. And tell them I sent you. Anything to add?
No, I think that's it. That's a wrap.
Alright, guys. We love you. Hopefully this was alright, this format. We got it for a few weeks here, and it's going to be good. So we enjoyed ourselves. Hopefully you did too. And yeah, we'll catch you next week.
Alright. Love you guys.
Peace.